When asked whether they plan to conduct any more arrests, GBI's director says that he believes that they have likely arrested everyone that they plan to arrest. And they're also very close at handing over their investigative findings to the district attorney's office. Now, this latest arrest happened last night in Brunswick. GBI executing a search warrant on Brian's home. He is the person who provided the video, shot the video while following Arbery in his car, ultimately documenting the fatal shooting. Over the past 2 weeks, Brian's attorneys has said that his client was simply a witness to the crime and handed over the video as soon as he was asked. GBI disagrees with that characterization. The charges follow the arrest of Gregory McMichael and his son Travis 2 weeks ago, seen on the video confronting Arbery and allegedly shooting him. Brian didn't fire the weapon in the video, but is still charged with murder. GBI's director, a former district attorney himself, put in perspective this way.
We believe the evidence would indicate that his underlying felony helped cause the death of Ahmaud Arbery. It'll be the Cobb District Attorney's job, their responsibility, which they take on to prove that in a court of law. But they've been involved with us in the decision-making of this particular arrest. I think they're as confident as we are they'll be able to prove that up in the court of law when that day comes.
Now, that district attorney joined today's press conference. She's Juliet Holmes, Cobb County's district attorney, and pointed to the case by the Georgia Attorney General. This morning, she confirmed that she has been in contact with the Arbery family.